Expressive E sent me one of these. It's a lot of fun and it sounds crazy good. If you've got one, I'm going to show you how to round out your presets with some sounds that might be missing from your arsenal, and showcase a couple of playing tricks along the way. Don't worry, we're not going to dive into Eaganmatrix territory today. If for some reason you've never seen what one of these can do, well, you might just want to watch and see why jelly keys are totally the future. Either way, stick around because we're going to have some fun.
Your husband was wanted by the United States government. Government.
This first preset gets close to a sound I've been wanting to program for years. I'm not sure why I've never done it, but being able to pitch bend per note makes this patch pretty sweet. Maybe you've seen a video or two where reviewers have said that you can get crazy with the pitch bend on the Osmose, if you really want to. Well, I mean, if you insist. Mainly because this keyboard player here uses crazy pitch bends, and frankly, he is having the most fun I've ever seen playing live. And if you aren't familiar with this guy, or this album, or this song, then pause this, open up a new tab, and watch this, because this is the best live song ever recorded. Mimicking Bernie Worrell's sound on Girlfriend is Better is actually pretty easy. Start with the Alter Saw preset, which is a pretty standard saw patch, very similar to the Prophet 5 patch used on the song. Then go to the sensitivity menu and ramp up the bending. 16 seems to be about right to me, and there you go. Now, I've modified this patch a bit to add a little resonance. Here's what I changed. There is a little bit of reverb, but not too much. Adding the resonance in gives this even more of a crazy sound, and once you get used to playing it, you can get some wild leads going. If you want to get good using heavy pitch bends, be sure to practice with all your fingers. Keeping your nails short is also good advice, so that they are not hitting the tops of the keys, as is playing with more of an arch in your hand so that your fingertips are pressing down on the keys and not the pads. Finally, be sure to bite down and sink into that aftertouch territory a little bit when you bend. All of these things will give you more accuracy and control. This movie and this movie? Great movies. And the Osmose has a Dune patch, in case you didn't know. But I've got another one with a little bit of a different tone. Take the electric batcher pad and make the following changes. For the FX section, we'll use the analog echo and some heavy mix and noise elements. For the EQ, we want to cut everything but the warm frequencies, so -3 dB at 780 Hz with a 50 to 60% mix. Finally, make sure that the pressure glide is on. I'm using a minor third, but you can change this pretty much any way you like. When you're playing these sci-fi type cinematic lines, minimalism is the way to go. So start out with an octave in the right hand, and in the left, play one note below the octave and then glide up. Another glide technique is to glide from the 6th to the 4th to the 5th. So if you're playing a D, that means playing a B, gliding to a G, and then finishing on the A. This one is great for beginners because it doesn't matter if you are super accurate with your bends. Here we get into ambient guitar territory, which is an absolute perfect match for the Osmose, because the Osmose architecture is fantastic at mimicking one tool that ambient guitar players rely on, the EBow. For some tips on ambient EBow guitar playing, check out Bill Vensil's wonderful channel, Chords of Orion, and we're going to get that ambient guitar sound patch going. Start with the Epirom factory preset and make the following changes. For the global FX, use the analog echo with the following settings. Make a slight change to the tilt EQ between -2 and -3 dB, around 2100 Hz, and between 60 to 70% of the mix. This will turn down a bit of the harshness of the higher frequencies. Everything else can stay the same, except we're going to make bends very unstable. Turn the stabilization down to 19 and the curve down to 37. At these rates, even if you are a very good player, you're going to notice quite a bit of detuning. If we were to keep the bending range high, this likely would not sound the greatest. Instead, we're going to put the bumpers up and ramp this down to 1/4 ST, which will limit any really nasty accidental detunes. What this essentially does is it introduces a kind of natural detune, which sounds very musical when kept in slight doses. Once you save this patch, try out these chords, and you'll feel like you've stepped into Bill's shoes without using a guitar. This one is subtle, but it shows off the low-pass filter echo and how you can use it to add warmth to a sound. This is opposite of the high-pass filter echo, which will add cool frequencies. Start with the harp patch and make the following changes. Then for the low-pass filter echo, use the following values. This effect adds a nice warmth to the sound, hence the name Winter's Glow. Also, try turning the extend on and you will clearly hear the echo. Note how warm the echo sounds compared to the original tone, and that instead of a slapback effect, you now get a full-fledged echo. Finally, try changing to the high-pass filter echo and adjusting the filter to 92. Now the sound has a much colder tone with a digital edge to it. This is the last one, but it showcases the great bass sounds that you can get from the Osmose, so turn on those subs. The original patch for this, called Lacus Bass, sounds just excellent, so we're only going to make a few minor changes. First, here are the macros. Next, switch to the analog echo with just a slight amount of mix. Finally, turn off the press glide, and you have a pretty nice bass patch. And if you turn on the Arp, you get this. The arpeggiator on the Osmose is pretty powerful, but it would be nice to be able to limit the keyboard range so that you could latch it on a lower octave while soloing on the upper ones. Maybe that's something that could be added in a firmware update. That's it for today. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe and the bell. We've got more Osmose videos in the works, including my take on the hardware and software in this beast. Thanks for watching, and we will see you on the other side of the mountain.
Your husband was wanted by the United States government. Government. United States government. Your government is counting on you. United States government. Your government is counting on you.